Hello y'all. This is a quick guide to dressage basics in the Tales of Rein Ravine early access. All of these movements are covered in the in-game book, The Road to Grand Prix, which can be accessed in the inventory on foot by hitting tab, or by hitting escape while mounted. But I will be showing them in a bit more detail here. Before we begin, I am assuming that you've done the lessons and are familiar with the basic controls. Stopping, changing gaits, as well as turning with the rein and leg. I'm going to use the terms inside and outside quite a few times. When I say inside, I am referencing the direction of travel. So if we're oriented or turning left, the inside is our left. If we're oriented or turning right, the inside is our right. Alright, let's get started. Getting the horse more rounded and balanced is our first priority, since most movements are locked behind certain roundness thresholds. We obtain more roundness by timing our half-halt cue, lightly tapping S with specific footfalls. This timing varies with each gait. At the walk, we want to half-halt when either back leg strikes the ground. At the trot, we want to half-halt when either diagonal strikes the ground. At the canter, we want to half-halt when the leading front leg strikes the ground. The quick transition to canter requires no roundness. Walk to canter is achieved by bracing with our inside leg and rein and tapping once with our outside leg. So, for the left lead, we brace with the left leg and rein and tap with the right leg. For the right lead, we brace with our right leg and rein and tap with the left leg. Trot to canter is performed in exactly the same way as walk to canter. Real quick, before I get into more advanced movements, please be aware that, at this time, it is possible to straight up spam certain commands with no penalty whatsoever. I am assuming that this is a bug because it completely removes the need to have any sort of timing or rhythm whatsoever. I did reach out to the dev for confirmation on whether or not this is in fact a bug, but I have yet to hear back. I will update in the description if when I do hear anything. Going forward with this tutorial, I will be assuming the spam allowance is not intentional, but be aware that it does exist as of my making this video, and it makes dressage total easy mode. Extension is available at both the walk and trot as long as our roundness meter is at least around halfway full. For extension, we hold W and tap both legs in rhythm with the horse's gait, using the same timing as we would for roundness. The horse will maintain extension for a stride or two after we cue it, so it is not necessary to tap at every single opening. I find it's much easier, especially at the trot, to focus on one diagonal, or one side of the horse. The Piaffe is essentially a very compressed and collected trot, and requires the horse to be fully on the bit at maximum roundness. To perform the Piaffe, we need to hold down S and tap our legs in rhythm with the trot, the same timing as we would use if we were trying to gain roundness. Like with extension, we can focus on one diagonal footfall and do not need to tap on both to maintain the movement. Horses in a loose frame will automatically swap leads based on the direction they are traveling. Once they hit half roundness, they will stop auto-swapping leads and wait for our instruction. To change leads manually, we first need to make sure that our horse is at least halfway rounded. Then we double tap with our leg on the same side as the horse's current lead to push them in the other direction, and we do this right as the leading leg strikes the ground. Leg yields are probably the most difficult maneuvers to maintain, and, at least for now, they seem maybe a little bit wonky. Unless your timing is dead on perfect, the horse will attempt to turn either off of your leg or rein, depending on which cue you hit first, before registering that both buttons were hit together and adhering to the yield request. This can cause some jitter, so just be aware of that. To request a yield, we need to tap in rhythm with the horse's gait using our outside rein and leg simultaneously. The horse will move off of the pressure into a leg yield. Each gait requires a different level of roundness before the leg yield will work, with the walk being the easiest, and the canter being the most difficult. The canter yield is the most difficult and requires essentially max roundness to even attempt. The horse will also only yield in the direction of their current lead or inside leg. If you're pushing with your right leg and rein, the horse needs to be on the left lead and vice versa. Again, the timing is the same as if we were trying to gain more roundness. The pirouette requires that we be cantering at max roundness and is similar to the bending line leg yield, but much tighter. We perform the pirouette by first making sure our horse is as slow as they can possibly be within the canter. For Blaze, this is 2 meters per stride. Then we use the same cues we would for the bending line yield at the canter, but instead of tapping once with our leg in Rein A during the cue window, we tap twice in rapid succession. Okay, yeah, that pretty much covers all of the introductory dressage moves that we have access to at this time. If you have any additional questions, just leave a comment and I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah, that's it. See y'all later.